Well, welcome back. Joining me now is Annette. Nice to have you on the program.
Thank you for having me.
Now, you have a website called peelingbackhistory.co.nz. Tell me about your website.
It's just basically just little interesting snippets. I began doing my own studies and found things that I had no idea existed and just thought other people might want to know, and they did.
And that's why we got you on the show today.
Wonderful.
Because I want to know what Canterbury was like when the first settlers came here.
It was boggy, it was swampy, toi 10 feet tall. There were stories of cows just disappearing into the marsh, and there was even settlers would lay sticks down to find their pathway through the marsh. So it was pretty hard going. You had to be a certain sort of person to make a go.
So is it quite surprising that they built a city on this?
I guess so, yeah, it is quite surprising, and I guess we can't be surprised with the quakes, with all the liquefaction that came up, because we are living on a lot of water. I mean, the Canterbury Plains are where the waters come down from the Alps, and that's what's made the plains, so we really can't be too surprised about liquefaction and what's been happening under our very feet.
Now, tell me about the families that founded Canterbury or Christchurch. You know, tell me a little bit about them.
I guess one family that sticks out in my mind is the Fitzgeralds, and we know Edward James Fitzgerald from Fitzgerald Ave, and he came out on the Charlotte Jane, and he was a wonderful Irish character, and not only he wanted to be the first to step ashore from the Charlotte Jane, and he did. Apparently there were reports that he leapfrogged over Dr. A.C. Barker to do that. He also emptied his pockets of money so he could tell his future children that he came into the New World with no money. And then he went on to basically found the press. He was in opposition of Morehouse's tunnel, the railway tunnel, and the Littleton Times wasn't really interested, so he made his own newspaper, and the press is still with us today. So, and of course, and so is Fitzgerald Ave, as he was a superintendent. So I really enjoy learning about Fitzgerald. He's fascinating.
That is so interesting. I had no idea.
That's why I have to write about it, because these characters, you just have no idea. People drive down the Ave and have no idea what a wonderful man, interesting man was behind the naming of it.
Now, you talk about how he leapfrogged over someone else so he could be the first one to step foot here.
Yes, he did.
What were the families like? Did they get on quite well?
They did. There were a few. I mean, Fitzgerald and Morehouse did not like each other. Morehouse was superintendent after Fitzgerald, and they did not like each other at all. But there were other families that bonded really well, and they were lifetime friends. And I mean, they were all strong characters, and I think they needed each other to survive. It's
interesting you say about Fitzgerald and Morehouse, because if you think of Fitzgerald Ave and Morehouse Ave, they're quite far apart. I mean, let's just think that's just...
I think if they were alive today, they wouldn't agree that they should have touching roads, I think. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, no, they're that way, aren't they?
Yeah.
Oh, what am I thinking?
Before the roads were renamed after the superintendents, they were the North Belt, South Belt, East Belt. And then they honoured, early 19th century, they honoured the 4 superintendents with naming the 4 main avenues after them. And that's how that came about.
Oh my gosh, okay. So tell me about, you know, the early families and how did they set up schools? I mean, what did they do?
Well, yeah, Christ College, which again is still with us today, was set up in the Littleton Barracks in 1851. And then they moved over the hill and actually set up base at what is now known as St Michael's and All Angels. Now, when that first opened in 1851, that was known as Christ's Church. It was the Church of Christ. And I think when the school came over the hill, they set up in the church building, and then they moved on to where they are today. So they've been there since the mid-1850s. So it's another school that's still with us, and the history is wonderful. But that's how they came to be known as Christ College, because they were set up in Christchurch.
So the Anglican faith was the faith that was...
Now, the Anglican is actually a New Zealand term for Church of England. So when they came over, they were Church of England, and Anglican is more of a Kiwi term that we use today. But there were Presbyterians and there were Baptists that snuck on, and you sort of found they were sort of put out on the edge. They weren't welcome in the Anglican community as much, especially the Baptists. They sort of, I actually learned the other day that there were families that camped in Hadley Park, and just with V huts and tents until land orders were sorted, and the Baptists were pushed. They were way other end of Hadley Park, and they weren't welcome, and but they formed together as a good community and looked after each other.
Isn't that great? You're so interesting. You can come on the show anytime
you can ask me anytime. I will be banging down the door to come back in.
And it's so good to have you on the program.
Thank you.
If you'd like to find out more about the website that Annette runs, it's peelingbackhistory.co.nz. She also has a Facebook page, facebook.com/peelingbackhistory.